One of the biggest problems with the Wii U aside from its name and bad marketing is the fact that it didn't have many games at launch. Since the Wii U was first shown off, the number one anticipated game has been The Legend of Zelda. At first we thought we would be getting a game based off of the tech demo, but years later we finally seen real gameplay of the game that we can expect. Since the Wii U's launched, we still have yet to play, and nostalgia doesn't scratch that itch of a new game. Especially if that game is Nintendo's first true HD Zelda title, with an open world that rivals the non-linearity of the first Zelda game, But to really satisfy all Nintendo fans, they should have looked into the past for inspiration. I'm in Majora's Mask, and the very first two Zelda titles, The Legend of Zelda and Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link. But that's not all. It also had a great demo of the then unreleased Wind Waker. Something to note is that the polygons are better textures. It was the exact same game, but just much more crisp. As the Wii could play the Zelda Collector's Edition disc, and only one other Zelda game had launched since then, it really didn't make sense to make one for the Wii since Twilight Princess was a launch title and it wouldn't have been good to compete with yourself. However, the Wii U's launch lineup was very dry and showed absolutely no love for Zelda fans. If Nintendo would have launched with a Zelda Collector's Edition for Wii U, I have no doubt in my mind it would have brought back all of the hardcore fans that have come and gone over the years. I still know people holding off on buying the console until a new Zelda title comes. What would the Zelda HD Collector's Edition be though? My perfect idea for it would be to do the same formula with a small twist. Give us the two newest Zelda games, Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess, and instead of the first two Zelda titles, give us the first two 3D Zelda games, Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, preferably the 3DS versions of the game. Not to play the game in 3D, unless you have a 3D TV that supports it, but for the higher polygon count and updated graphics. The implementation of the bottom touchpad would transition to the gamepad perfectly as well. Now, going back to Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword, obviously fully remaking the games in a similar way to that of the Wind Waker HD would take a lot of time, and that's not what I'm asking. Those familiar with the Dolphin emulator will know exactly what I'm asking for. The Dolphin emulator gives us the option to increase the resolution from 480p to 1080p and even higher. However, 1080p would be the limit for the Wii U. Remember, the GameCube Collector's Edition did this exact same thing, rendering the games in 480p as opposed to 280p. It wouldn't require any extra work on Nintendo's side. In Dolphin emulator, it's literally as simple as clicking a drop-down box and selecting the resolution you want to play as. You don't have to create new textures, you don't have to work on a new engine, just simply port Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, and Skyward Sword over and allow them all to be played at 1080p and a 16:9 aspect ratio. Finally, just as the original Collector's Edition had a demo for the then upcoming Wind Waker, give us the demo shown off at the Video Game Awards. Give us a 10-minute limit inside a dungeon, or drop us in the middle of Hyrule Field with Epona and let us explore to our heart's content. If you're asking why I picked these two Zelda games, it's because most of the other Zelda titles are already available on the Wii U Virtual Console. Picking the two oldest 3D Zelda games and the two newest 3D Zelda games can really show where it all started and how far it's gone. I could have added in the Wind Waker, as it would fit Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword perfectly, but I wanted to keep the number of games the same as the original, 4 games and 1 demo. Releasing this Zelda Collector's Edition, a Mario Collector's Edition, similar to Super Mario All-Stars for the SNES, which had remakes of all of the NES games, have it with Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and the Galaxy games. The same as the Zelda Collector's Edition, all rendered in 1080p and widescreen. No added polygons, textures, or anything. The same game, just in HD. Have a Metroid Collector's Edition, and possibly more. Have them only release as a bundle with the Wii U. Many people would buy multiple Wii U consoles or NXs just to get all the different Collector Editions games. This would increase the Wii U sales significantly, and been a huge thank you to fans at the same time. I'm honestly surprised Nintendo isn't smart enough to have done this yet. You know, the idea has had to come up in at least one meeting. It wouldn't require much actual work, and it wouldn't be that expensive, as they would all simply just be ported and allowed to be rendered in 1080p instead of being remade. Collector's editions like the recent Uncharted games take a long time to properly port. They have to essentially remake parts of the coding to work with new hardware and CPU types from PS3 to PS4. This isn't the case with the Wii and Wii U console. Just as the Wii was a higher clocked and faster version of the GameCube, the Wii U basically has the same CPU architecture, though a way more powerful version than the Wii. I mean, it even emulates the Wii. Not just the games, but the entire console is emulated on the Wii U. Would you like to see Zelda, Mario, Metroid, or other franchise collector's edition on the Wii U, or launch on the NX? What games would you want on it? Let me know in the comments below.